I'm Ms. Vaughn, and today I'm going to show you how to do the enzyme lab setup. You're going to start with a pan of water that's got about 35 degrees to 40 degrees centigrade water all the way filled up. It's important that your water is filled up higher than the graduated cylinder you're going to put into it. When you put in the graduated cylinder, notice that if you get an air bubble in it, what you want to do is you want to try and kind of get it out of there, get the water in slowly enough that the bubble comes out and the graduated cylinder is completely filled with water. And then you're going to turn it up on its side so that it's completely filled with water and has no air bubbles. Then you're just going to leave that aside. You can do that later if you want, but I like to do it first so that I know it's ready to go. Then you're going to get your reaction chamber ready. What you want to do is you want to take however many discs you're using, these are just paper coffee filters, and you're going to soak them in your Catalase enzyme. This is red because it comes from beef liver, which we know is very high in Catalase. But you don't want this too drippy because it will drip into the reaction chamber too quickly and your reaction will go too fast. So you want to tap it on the sides and make sure that the Catalase is stuck to the disc but not dripping off of the disc. And then put the disc into the chamber. You're going to have to sort of tap it. And it's probably going to be stuck either in the neck or in the top. So you have to use a bent tip dissecting probe to move the disc to where you want it, and you want it on the sidewall, pretty high up on the sidewall. And you're going to do that until you get 1, 2, 3, or 4 discs soaked in the enzyme. When your discs are all soaked and put in the chamber, they should be fairly high up in the chamber, pretty close together, definitely not in the top or the neck, but high on one sidewall. They all have to be together on the same side. What you want to do when you pour in your hydrogen peroxide is make sure that the side with the discs is up. You don't want these two substances to mix until you're ready to start timing.
We're good.
Okay, so I have the cylinder. It has my 4 discs. The 4 discs I'm holding on top of the side, on one sidewall, holding out on an angle. I'm going to take 10 milliliters of hydrogen peroxide and pour it, being really careful not to mix the two substances because otherwise they'll bubble. And if they start to bubble like that, if they bubble a little bit, it's okay, but if they bubble too much, you're going to want to redo it. Now, obviously, we've got a little bit of mixage here, so I would redo this if this were my lab. Then you're going to put the cap on and put it in the water, underneath the water, so that the 4 discs are on top. Get your timer ready, and when your timer person is ready, you're going to say go, and you're going to flip so the discs are on the bottom and the two substances mix. And very carefully put the graduated cylinder over just the tip of the reaction chamber, and what you see is that as gas is produced by the reaction, it comes out the tip of the tube and collects in the chamber. And you're going to do this for 5 minutes, and at the end of 5 minutes, you're going to read the volume of gas that's been produced by the reaction.